so after you've established a basic head figure, I always start with the nose. It's the central part of the face and is unavoidable no matter how much a person may hate it. So step one is just kind of do a rough outline of where it should be, general shape of the nose. Then I always define the nostrils first because it's as close as you can get to getting some lines in the nose since it's practically all shading. So just kind of figure out what the shape is a little bit. It doesn't have to be too dark because you can always come back and make it darker. It's a pain to erase. Kind of looks like a nose now. After defining the nostrils, I always go in and see where the nose hits the face, because that's also the next darkest spot, right under here. Bring it up a little bit. So now that you've established the basic shape of your nose, the best part is, next part is to do the shading underneath, where the light doesn't hit. It's a little under here too. And a little bit on the sides of the nose up here. Okay. Now it's time to do your midtones, so you can go on here. It's a little darker here and here at the bottom. There's a bit of a highlight in the middle. Nice and light strokes. Bring it up a little bit here. You can actually start going up to the sides of the nose now. It's a little darker right above the bridge. The final step is maybe just do a little bit of erasing for some highlights and go back and make your nostrils perhaps a little darker and a little shading under here. Pretty much after that, you're all done. So when drawing the eye, it's really important to actually think of the eye inside of the head. Otherwise, you'll have some crazy looking stuff turn out. So it looks a little scary, but just kind of get an idea for how big they are. Yeah, it's intense. Then you can add the opening. So most eyes are kind of an almond shape, like this. Do not forget this little area right here, or it will not look like a human eye whatsoever. Okay. So now that you got your basic shape, you're just gonna go in and define the upper a little bit more. It can be a lot darker because it's got the eyelash line. Okay. Come in here, just do a little shading at the end of the eye. The bottom, you want to be careful not to make it look too dark, or they'll look like they're having eyeliner, which is especially displeasing when it's a guy. And add a little shading under here because, again, eye is round. Okay, so now you can start to establish a little bit more of the upper lid. Again, it's going to be darker on the sides and lighter up here as it comes towards you and create the illusion of shape. You can also erase these lines now and kind of sketch in the pupil. It's also good to think of it as a whole circle. The next step is to come in and define what you've already drawn, this little darker, but remember to have an idea of where the light source is because it will be reflecting on the eye. In this case, the light's coming down here, So you're going to want to leave a little bit of space up here and not be quite so dark. You can also add more of a crease above the eye up here. It's going to be darker. Okay, so the next step is eyelashes. This is very careful with eyelashes. As you can see, hers come down like this in a drooping method rather than a spiking up and away from the eye, which is just completely wrong and scary. So you're going to want to make nice turns out. So curve a little bit and go straight as it comes out. You don't really need to do very much of the eyelashes over in this section. It just kind of gets kind of messy, and gets the point across. And finally, you're going to add an eyebrow. All eyebrows start out large and curve and get smaller. If it's the other way around, it will just look completely wrong. So just do something really quick here. Doing all the hairs can be really tedious, so you can just do a few right in the front. Okay, so the next step is to get a mouth. Before we do that, we need to connect the nose and the mouth where they will be. So this little area right here should be about the same width as the nose. If it's wider or off-center, there's something wrong with their face. So again, the shadow is on this side, so it'll be a little darker. Recedes a little bit back here. I always do the middle lip line right here because, again, it's the only dark line, real line that you can draw. So let's see. It needs to be even amounts on the sides of the face unless they're smiling. And the next step is to go in and get the darkest shade. So right here underneath the lip, it's always very dark. And above here. Just go ahead and kind of fill in the whole upper lip while you're at it. So now that you've got a good base layer for your lip, you can come back in and darken up this middle line and add a little bit more detail. When you draw the lines on the lips or the mouth, you want to remember to make them curved to give them the impression of volume. So now you can just add a few more details, like a little more shading. One side of the lip will be darker than with the side with the shadow over here. And also bring this shading back down all the way. Leave a little bit of a highlight around the edge of the lip. You can make it a little bit darker, but remember not to do a sharp line. And then the last step is just doing a little bit of erasing. Like, remember where your light source is coming. And you can do a few more touch-ups if you like. Probably a little bit more under here. Other than that, you're done.